Are you looking for a regular income from mutual fund and not sure how to achieve that? Then this video is for you. I'm CA Vijay Kedia, and in today's video we'll discuss what is systematic withdrawal plan or SWP and how to use that to achieve a regular income from your mutual funds. Systematic withdrawal plan or SWP is a reverse of SIP. So in SIP, you specify that you want to invest a particular amount, say 10,000 every month on a particular date, and the mutual fund house deducts that amount and allocates the number of units based on the current NAV. In case of SWP, you specify that amount which you want to withdraw every month from your mutual funds, and then on that particular date mutual fund house will sell the required number of units to pay you that particular amount, and it will be deposited to your bank account. Since SWP is the reverse of SIP, it also works in reverse way. So you know that when the market goes down and you're investing through SIP, you get more units because the NAV is down and you get more units allocated to your mutual fund. But when the market goes up, you get lesser units. So when the market goes down, it's actually good for you because you get more units in your account. But in case of SWP, when the market goes down, more units need to be sold to pay you that amount. And when the market goes up, lesser number of units are sold to pay you that fixed amount. So in case of SIP, the market going down is good for you because you get more units. But in case of SWP, if the market goes down, then more units need to be sold to give you that fixed amount. So that is not a good scenario. But if the market goes up, lesser number of units are sold for that fixed amount. So that's a better scenario for a systematic withdrawal plan. Now you understand that the risks are different in case of SIP and SWP. So let's understand that with an example, and then we'll discuss more about the right strategy to implement a systematic withdrawal plan. For our calculation, let's assume that you're doing an SIP of 10,000 per month, right? And when you started the SIP on that particular date, the NEP for the fund is 90. Next month, that becomes 91. Uh, Month after that becomes 92. And then, say, the market falls, that NAV for that fund is 89, and in the subsequent month it becomes 88, right? Now in this scenario, let's see how many units you get through SIP, right? So you divide the investment 10,000 by the NAV, and this is the number of units you get in the first month. Similarly, for the subsequent month, you get 109.89, 108.69, and then when the market falls, you get more units, 112, 113, right? So what you see here is that when the market falls, it's actually good when you're doing SIP because you're getting more number of units. So if you get more number of units and when the market goes up, your investment portfolio will increase in faster, right? So and your costs get averaged out with the market ups and downs. But at the time of doing systematic withdrawal plan or SWP, you need to understand the same logic works in a reverse way, right? So now when the market was 91, only 109.89 units were getting sold to get 10,000 rupees to your account. When it becomes 92, even the lesser units were getting sold. So it's actually good, right? And then you don't need to redeem more units to get that amount. But when the market falls, it's actually bad for SWP because now you need to redeem more number of units. Here 112 and 113. And so your more number of units are redeemed from your account, and for the future growth you have less units in your account. You need to manage that risk when you're doing the systematic withdrawal plan. And if that, say, if the market goes down and it remains in the downward trend for 2 3 years, you will withdraw more than what you anticipated, and that's why you need a different strategy for systematic withdrawal plan. So now you understand that because of the market volatility, you need to manage your risk while you're withdrawing your money from mutual funds. And so that's why it's never a good idea to implement systematic withdrawal plan in a pure equity fund which invests like 80-90% in equity, because if the market goes down and it remains in the downward trend for next 2-3 years, you will end up redeeming investments more than what you have initially planned, and that will not be good for your overall long term portfolio. So what you need to do to implement a systematic withdrawal plan? So first of all, you need to move from pure equity fund to hybrid fund to start a systematic withdrawal plan. So if you are holding a particular corpus in your mutual fund through pure equity funds, you need to move the fund which you need for at least next 3 years in a hybrid fund. And what is a hybrid fund? Hybrid fund is a fund which invests in both equity and debt, and there are different type of hybrid funds which we'll discuss. That is the first step which you need to do to start systematic withdrawal plan. Now we'll discuss what are the different type of hybrid funds and which type of fund you should select to implement systematic withdrawal plan. What are the types of hybrid funds we have? So mainly we have three different type of hybrid funds. One is aggressive, next is balanced, and then conservative. So aggressive funds are the funds which are investing more than 65% in equity, like stocks, and it can go up to 80%. So it acts like an equity fund only. So, and even the taxation wise, it's equity fund. Even the returns should be similar to what we get from an equity fund, right? In case of balance fund, it invests 40 to 60% in equity. So it can be 50 equity, 50 debt, or maybe 40% equity, 60 debt, and vice versa, right? So return will be slightly lesser, but it will be more stable with the market ups and down. Since only half of that investment is going in the stock market, your fund value or the NAV of your fund will not fluctuate that much. Now, next category is the conservative hybrid fund, which invests only 10 to 25% in equity. So it will not go beyond 25% of equity. And so, in that case, the risk is minimal due to market volatility, and you can expect some stable return for this kind of funds. But the return will also be on the lower side. It will be slightly higher than the debt fund, but lower than your balance fund. So and also these are like the indicative returns over the long term, but the past returns are not an indicator of the future returns. This is just to make you understand how these funds work. If you want to do an SWP, aggressive fund is never a good idea because they are like equity fund and they'll have similar volatility. So that is not something which is suggested for SWP. So you can either go for a balanced fund or a conservative fund when you want to do SWP. So balanced fund is suggested for aggressive investors who are okay with some volatility, and so you can go for that balanced fund. But if you're a conservative investor, you should stick to conservative hybrid funds and to for your SWP. So there are different funds which are available under each category. So I'll just give one example of balance and conservative funds which you might consider, but again, that's not an investment advice. I'm not an SEBI registered investment advisor. So do your own research or check with your investment advisor which is the right fund for you. So for the balance fund, I like SBI Balance Advantage Fund. The reason is they maintain equity allocation of less than 50%, because though you can go 40 to 60% allocation in balance fund, I would prefer the balance fund having allocation less than 50% to equity if you want to do a systematic withdrawal plan. So in SBI balance fund, I see that allocation is always less than 50% in equity, which is a good allocation for a systematic withdrawal plan. So this is again, this is the return for over last 4 years annualized return. This is on higher side. We should not be expecting this kind of return in the long term, but that should still be on in double digits over the long term, and which is still good for a balanced fund. Now For a conservative investor, if you want to go for a conservative fund, this is the fund which I like, the Parag Parikh Conservative Hybrid Fund. This was launched 4 years back. So here also, these returns are on the higher side because of the market condition. So normally it should be in single digits, on the higher single digits. But here, if you see the equity allocation, currently the equity allocation is 10%. So it's normally in the 10 to 15% range. Rest is in debt, which is a good allocation for a conservative fund. Here you can get the advantage of lower volatility and with some decent return through conservative hybrid fund. So once we have selected the fund which is suitable for you for systematic withdrawal plan and transfer 3 years of withdrawal into that fund, then you can start your SWP. And the next thing which you need to do is that you keep monitoring that market condition over the next 3 years. And whenever you get that opportunity that, okay, maybe the market is making new high or it's at all time high, then you can transfer, you can sell some of your equity, pure equity funds, and keep moving that amount to your this bucket where you are maintaining your hybrid funds, so that your systematic withdrawal plan has the money for next 3 years. In every 2 3 years, you'll definitely get an opportunity when the market is at the good levels, and then you should be able to redeem some of the equity funds and move to your hybrid fund for systematic withdrawal plan. So this strategy ensures that while your long-term corpus, which you need beyond 3 years, 5 years, that keeps on growing through equity funds, your short-term expenses, your short-term needs are protected through hybrid funds, and that fund you can utilize to get your monthly withdrawals, and this way you'll be able to manage that risk for your short-term expenses. So these are some of the details and strategies related to SWP which I wanted to share with you through this video. Hope you like this video. If yes, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done already, and do share with your friends and colleagues who also can benefit from this video. And let me know in comments if you have any questions or if you want me to make video on any particular topic, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.